Let's take a look at this date in sports history. Jim, this is one of the all-time great moments in early baseball, 1934. Carl Hubbell in the All-Star Game strikes out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin, all Hall of Famers, did it in succession. The American League, however, comes back from behind to win the second All-Star Game ever, and that is a 9-7 win for the AL, and it took place in where the Giants played at the Polo Ground in New York. Look at that list of names there.
Yeah, although they were not Hall of Famers at the moment.
No, not yet. They were still playing the game.
Yeah.
Now that, of course, that was the second All-Star Game, and Babe Ruth playing in his final one because he retired early the next season. All right, let's find out what Mac Robinson is doing, see if he's recovered from the game last night. There you go. Hey, Mac, how are you?
I'm good, Les. How are you?
Good. Jim Ingraham with us. We're going to grill you with questions as to what the millennials are thinking about that game. You know, when I just mentioned the names of Five Guys, I don't know if you're able to hear it, Five Guys, not the restaurant chain. This is a different Five Guys. But all made the Hall of Fame. Are we going to have anywhere in that lineup last night of either of you? Are there 5 Hall of Famers in there? Mac, what do you think?
I mean, it's interesting to look at the lineup that you see. I mean, obviously you got Mike Trout for sure. I think Francisco-Lindor is on that track right now. And then also, too, you can't help but look at, I mean, a player like a Mookie Betts has really performed well in Boston. And then even on the other side, you see Christian Yelich, who's been performing great.
Yeah, you don't get to see those national. You don't get to see Colorado as often as you like. They got some great ball players on that team. Jim, what do you think? How many Hall of Famers, just off the top of your head, how many Hall of Famers did we see last night?
I would put into the list you guys, the main names you guys mentioned, I would put Verlander. I would say Aroldis Chapman's potentially one.
It has to be.
Yeah. Trout's the obvious one. Kershaw's probably going to be in there, I would say.
Could very well be.
So yeah, there's probably at least 5, maybe closer to 10.
Yeah. Hey Mac, we're giving kudos to the city of Cleveland and its baseball fans, and they were tremendous, shouting for Bieber and all that stuff, almost like LeBron James at the foul line shouting MVP there. Does this lift the Indians into a position where it gave them an extra something as the second half of the season will start on Friday?
I think so, honestly. You see Shane-Bieber, especially being a younger pitcher for this team, he's really looked like a veteran. I mean, if you would have told me a year ago that he's going to be the All-Star MVP, I think that would be I would have thought you were crazy. Because honestly, he performed very well. He's performed very well this season. And honestly, I'm excited to see what he's able to do in the second half.
Jim, you were there. You were in the press box when you looked up in the 5th inning or top of the 6th and said, wait a minute, I think that's Bieber. What's happening here?
I was actually a little surprised that he came in there because I just thought the way the staff was put together and Bieber being like the last guy in, that Alex Cora would save him for extra innings in case they needed a length guy, that would be maybe the logical spot for Bieber. But then he started warming up, and then when that happens, he's going to come in. But then it was funny because I mentioned to somebody about the 7th inning, just half jokingly. I said, well, I guess Bieber's going to be the MVP, right? Because not much was going on. And then, two innings later, there were some other candidates for that. But
hey, to both of you, I thought maybe a home run hitter might have been the answer. Gallo, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll throw this out to both of you here. You had Terry Francona in the dugout. Brad Hand gets in over 30. What did he finish with? 36 pitches, maybe 37?
Yeah, it was over 30.
If there was, many of you might have thought, or many people might have thought, wait a minute, you're endangering him for starting this weekend. But Terry Francona's there. He could have pulled the plug on it any time he wanted to.
Well, that would have been discussed with Cora before the game. Yeah. I'm sure the pitch number, but there's 2 off days until their next game. So I think Francona probably didn't mind that so much.
Hey, Mac. I just mentioned Brad Hand. 2 of his last 3, if you include the All-Star game, 2 of his last 3 outings have been rather shaky. Do you have any concerns in the second half for him?
Not really, honestly. I mean, honestly, it shows that he's human. Despite the fact that he really performed fantastic for the majority of the first half. I mean, honestly, I think that for the way that he was able to perform, I think that he really can take that and go forward with that. It's a little bit shaky, and honestly, I had a little bit of a problem with how long he was out there. I mean, to have his longest outing of the season be in an All-Star game, I didn't like that.
Well, if he pitched better, it wouldn't have happened.
Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Right. We sent him out there. We want 18 pitches from you, and that's it. That's it. Your thoughts as we head to the second half of the season, and we're going to, after the break, we'll get Jim's thoughts. The rest of the season starts on Friday, 3 games with Minnesota, and a real great chance here because they got some weak sisters coming up after that. What do you think happens here in the first couple of weeks?
I think that the Indians really have an opportunity to get a foothold back on that lead. I think that if they're able to set a statement for Minnesota, I think that's the biggest thing. Because honestly, I look back to August of 2013, where you saw the Indians fighting with the Tigers to try to see if they could get back into that first place contention. And you ended up seeing the Tigers take advantage of that. I think the Indians have that opportunity right now to take advantage of that against the Tigers.
You know, the interesting thing to both of you is that I'm assuming there's going to be 3 sellouts over the weekend, right? We got Rock and Blast going in addition to Minnesota. So they'll sell out those 3. It seems to me that Indians fans are happier or more excited when they're trying to overcome a lead rather than when they've got it and they're just kind of skating along. To me, I'd always rather be the better team.
Well, there is a certain uniqueness to this because I think the last 3 years they've kind of run away with the division, and it's there's probably some intrigue as far as the fans go. Perhaps they can go wire to wire almost, but can they run somebody down during the season? And we're going to find out.
Well, I know the intrigue. I want to win by 20 games.
You only need to win by 1, though.
Yeah, they'll call you on that Sunday night and say, "Hey, tomorrow you play here." Yeah. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Mac, any final comment here as you get set for the second half of the season?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm ready to go and ready to see how they do against the Twins.
Excellent. Thanks, Mac. Great to have you as always.
Thanks for having me on, Les.
All right, Mac Robinson, and you can catch him. You saw the website and where you can find him. He's a terrific young man, no question about that.